Going to admit the waiting room. I think everyone is joining. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm just going to give everyone about an extra minute just to sign on. I see a few additional people trying to join, so we'll get started in just a minute. Okay, I think everyone has successfully logged in. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Student Programs and Challenges Launch event hosted by the Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub. Today is March 31st, 2023. It is around 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'd like to thank all of you who are joining us today live, as well as those tuning into this launch event on the Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub's YouTube channel throughout the year. So my name is Emily Rothenberg. I am the program coordinator for the National Student Data Corps, an initiative that you will be hearing more about today. And I'd like to start this exciting launch event off by introducing the NEBDHub HQ team, Florence Hudson and Lauren Close. Florence, would you like to give a very short introduction of yourself?
Sure, absolutely. I have to apologize. I have a little issue with my throat, but we're so delighted you all could join us today, whatever today is for you. We've been building more student programs and challenges over the last few years of the Hub events, and we're really excited to launch the ones this year. And I want to thank Emily and Lauren for taking the lead on all this, and we wish you great luck in participating in these opportunities.
Thank you, Florence. And Lauren?
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet all of you. My name is Lauren Close. I'm the Operations and Communications Manager at the Hub. I obviously work with Florence and Emily on these and many other exciting projects that we'll be talking about today. I'm very excited to get to work with all of you as students who may be joining us for the first time to work in data science or may be seasoned in this field. Everyone is welcome here, and we're very excited to work with all of you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you both for your assistance with this event as well. So now I will review the event agenda. Today we will start off with an overview of the Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub, or NEBDHub, along with its two premier programs, the National Student Data Corps, or NSDC, and the COVID Information Commons, or KIC. Then we will launch the collaborative programs and challenges that we will be hosting throughout the year. These initiatives will offer you various professional development opportunities, including networking and mentorship opportunities and more. Afterwards, we will share a few helpful resources for data science learners, researchers, educators, and enthusiasts that can be of assistance throughout your educational and professional pathways. And lastly, toward the end of the event, we will host an open Q&A session to answer any questions that you may have regarding these programs and challenges. So we invite you to post your questions in the chat along the way, and we will do our best to answer them. So let's get started. The Hub is a collaboration network whose role is to fuel data science innovation through diverse and inclusive partnerships with a focus on underserved community, whether that be through academia, industry, nonprofit, government, or other sectors. These partnerships not only span across the country, but around the world. Here you can see some of the activities, events, and resources that we host in each of our 4 focus areas: education and data literacy, in which the NSDC is the premier program; health, in which the KIC is the premier program; urban to rural communities; and responsible data science, including security, privacy, and ethics. We plan on launching an updated version of the About page within the coming days, so also keep an eye out for some new resources as well. The Hub community now includes over 70 to 100 individuals from over 1,300 organizations. We are also excited to announce that the Hub's international reach has continued to grow and now spans across the 50 US states, Puerto Rico, Washington, D.C., and 59 other countries, as you can see here on the global map. Now a bit about the NSDC. So the National Student Data Corps, or NSDC, is a community-developed initiative that provides resources and opportunities for students to learn data science in a community of support, with a special focus on engaging underserved institutions, students, and communities. The NSDC hosts a multitude of free, accessible online resources that help data science learners and educators expand data science literacy in their classrooms and around the world. The COVID Information Commons, funded by the NSF Convergence Accelerator and the NSF TIP Directorate, serves as a resource for researchers, students, and decision makers from all sectors to identify collaboration opportunities, leverage each other's research findings, and to accelerate promising research regarding the broad societal impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The KIC also offers free, accessible resources, including but not limited to groups and guides, a video library, and powerful tools to help you search a COVID awards and PI database. So now that we have reviewed a bit about our initiatives here at the Hub, I am very excited to officially announce the launch of 4 student programs and challenges: the 2023 NSDC Data Science Symposium, the 2023 KIC Student Paper Challenge, the KIC Working Groups, and the Call for Manuscripts Collaboration. I will review a bit about each of these great opportunities, and please feel free to drop any questions that you may have in the chat along the way. So first, we have the 2023 NSDC Data Science Symposium. If you're interested in creating a data science research project on an appropriate topic of your choice and creating a virtual poster board to showcase your research findings, then the NSDC DSS is for you. This challenge is open to students at higher education institutions around the world, including undergraduates, graduates, and recently graduated students within the past 12 months. Throughout this challenge, you will receive the opportunity to virtually meet with data science mentors once a month to discuss your project and to gain expert insights and guidance toward the submission date, which is July 31st, 2023. So I will now display the NSDC DSS webpage. Can you all see that? Okay, perfect. So this is the Data Science Symposium webpage. The link will be dropped in the chat. So up top, you can see some call for participation and submission buttons, some key dates that are important maybe for you to look at if you want to be reminded of the upcoming virtual mentoring sessions or the submission date. We have step-by-step explanations on how to participate as an NSDC Explorer or student participant, an NSDC mentor, which we invite if you're a graduate student, a professional, researcher, or faculty member, we invite you to become an NSDC mentor, and the same for a judge. We also have created, with some of our collaborators, themes and theme challenges. So theme challenges, in other words, are basically a project prompt or project idea that will help inspire your research. If you're interested in health, for example, you can find links to active, free, and available data sets with a project prompt in here. We have some additional really interesting urban to rural projects, along with cybersecurity projects and social media projects as well. So you can look through there and see if anything is of interest to you if you'd like to get started. We also provide a bit more information on eligibility and a list of wonderful resources, including links to our Learner Central and video library, KIC awards tools that you can use to search the database, our Slack community, along with an example poster board for a submission. Continuing, we have some information about evaluation criteria that you may look through, along with a list of FAQs that may answer some of the questions that you have. And the inaugural DSS was launched last year and had 2 teams of undergraduate students win first and second place. So in the DSS, your submissions are categorized into 2 cohorts, the undergraduate and community college cohort, and then the graduate cohort for fair and equal judging. So the 2 winners of last year's symposium were 2 undergraduate teams. The first place was awarded to a team from Case Western Reserve University, who completed research on the prediction of the Russian ruble against the US dollar amid the Russian-Ukrainian war, which you can see here. And the second place team from Smith College helped their community visualize Hampshire County in Massachusetts, their school's health data, which you can see here. Both teams were offered the opportunity to present their research findings at a live virtual event hosted by the NEBDHub. So this is a bit of information about the Data Science Symposium from last year and the upcoming one. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Next up, we have the 2023 KIC Student Paper Challenge. If you're interested in the pandemic, COVID recovery, health insights, or future innovations and discoveries, we welcome you to synthesize research in a 4 to 5 page paper format for the KIC Student Paper Challenge. Once again, this is open to undergraduates, graduates, and recently graduated students within the past 12 months from around the world, and we will be evaluating these submissions again in the undergraduate community college cohort and the graduate cohort. Participants will have access to mentorship calls as well throughout their research development, and also have access to various resources located on the KIC webpage, which I will now pull up. So here, and we will drop the link in the chat as well. Here's a bit more information about the challenge. We have call for participation and submission buttons toward the top. Key dates, which notify you of the upcoming virtual student mentoring sessions and submission due dates. Information about the challenge. Additional information about eligibility and resources, including the KIC COVID Awards and PI database, the KIC Research Explorer, KIC webinars and interviews with researchers, more data sets, groups, and guides, and more. So these resources can be really helpful throughout the development of your projects. We also have some themes challenges in here as well. If you're looking to get started on different topics, maybe you're interested in how COVID was in relation to education or COVID's impact on the environment, you can click through these to see some more information that may inspire you, with additional information about the evaluation criteria, as well as FAQs that may help answer some of your questions. So the last year, the KIC Student Paper Challenge received submissions from around the world, highlighting institutions across the United States and South Africa. The winning papers, which can be found on the KIC website, included topics like vaccination hesitancy, COVID education, COVID breakthrough detection, financial security during the pandemic, and implications of COVID on nursing homes. The graduate and undergraduate student cohorts were invited to present their findings on a live virtual event hosted by the Hub. So this is yet another great opportunity, and we welcome you to join the scientific research community. And speaking of research communities, I will now hand the mic over to my colleague Lauren to discuss some great collaboration opportunities for students and researchers.
Yes, thank you so much, Emily. I want to invite the group here today to join another project that we have going on the Hub. This is our KIC, which stands for COVID Information Commons Working Groups. Like the Student Paper Challenge, the working group focuses on COVID-19 research and pandemic preparedness analysis. We host 4 working groups at the Hub, 3 of which are designed primarily for researchers and professionals, but everyone is, of course, welcome to join. And one is specifically designed for students of all different academic disciplines and backgrounds. So if you're interested in learning, for example, about pandemic prevention, you might wish to join this pandemic prevention policy group. We also have social impacts and health outcomes, which talks a bit more broadly about the ways that COVID has affected our social relationships or health outcomes broadly. And of course, there's also education impacts, which might talk about things like remote learning. So we absolutely encourage you to join those calls. We meet monthly. There's also, as I mentioned, the student working group, which is a great way to connect with other students who are of all different backgrounds. Some are data scientists, some might be studying health or pre-med, who want to look at different facets of the COVID pandemic. So please reach out to our group. We provided the email in the chat. We're next going to be meeting the student working group on Friday, April 28th, and that's at 11 a.m. Eastern. So we hope to see you there. And on the next slide, I'll be talking about Another initiative in our lineup today, this is the Call for Manuscripts collaboration. This is with our peer-reviewed open access journals, Blockchain and Healthcare Today, and Telehealth and Medicine Today, which amplify and disseminate digital health and distributed ledger technology research and innovations papers. These call for manuscripts invite data science enthusiasts who may be graduate students, postdocs, educators, and researchers to submit a research manuscript. So if you're part of the NEBDHub or the NSDC newsletter, you can submit with the article processing charge or the APC waived. Submitted manuscripts are expected to provide new conceptual, theoretical, and practical insights based on empirical data emerging from recent market or research activities. And then Emily on the slide, it'll show that topics of interest for BHTY include data integrity, security for health data, clinical support and clinical trials management, supply chain management, and the integration of AI and machine learning tools in this emerging specialty field of research. Topics of interest for THMT include the value of telehealth and clinical automation, its use of and scalable developments, business processes guidance, market research, and the economic impact of digital health innovations in an evolving health technology sector. So wherever your interest may lie, we welcome you to submit a manuscript to this call for manuscripts, which will be open through December 2023 with rolling submissions throughout the remainder of this year.
Thank you, Lauren. So now, before we get into the Q&A session, and as I give everyone a moment to kind of soak in all of that information, see maybe where your interests lie and come up with any questions that you have, you can post them in the chat. I'd like to inform you of a few resources that we host here at the Hub that may be of assistance throughout the upcoming challenges and programs. If you are interested in collaborating, we recommend the KIC webinar series. That is where we bring together researchers studying wide-ranging aspects of the pandemic to share their research and answer questions directly from our community. There is also the Data Sharing and Cyber Infrastructure Working Group, which brings together data scientists and cyber infrastructure professionals to learn about topics of common interest, such as water quality, public health, and transportation. If you're interested in learning and/or teaching, we invite you to visit the Learner Central and Video Library, where you can learn data science topics at your own pace, ranging from data science ethics to computer programming and data science use cases. Similarly, we have the Educator Central, where you can find a vast range of resources to develop or broaden a data science program. The NSDC chapter system is a community of support for learners of all ages that provide learning resources, mentorship, and career opportunities to launch your data science journeys. There are currently 20 institutional chapters that span across the United States and in India, and 4 regional chapters around the world. So we welcome you to join or start a chapter in this collaborative community. You may also leverage the Career Central, where you will find the latest job listings, internship opportunities, and practice materials for interviews. And if you're looking for a mentor who will be able to help you along the way, you can visit the NSDC Mentorship Program to connect with another student or professional in the field. Lastly, for all of the aspiring researchers on today's call, we recently relaunched the Data Science Resource Repository, or DSRR. The DSRR is a curated set of over 700 resources for learners, educators, and researchers, including English and Spanish resources, that can be a great resource for those participating in the research challenges that we reviewed today. So now we will begin our Q&A session. We can start by taking a look at some questions in the chat, or if anyone has questions, you can raise your hand. You should have access to do that. Let's see. I'm working towards my graduate project and was hoping to present my learnings to a wider audience for critique. Sorry, I heard myself back. I'm not sure if everyone else heard that. to present my learnings to a wider audience for critique and scope expansion. Will I be able to submit it to the symposium? So the answer is yes. So you can submit projects that you are starting from scratch, or you can submit projects that you have completed before that you want to expand, or that you are currently completing in class, for example. So if you, like you said, you're doing something with a group right now, you can absolutely use our resources. If you need extra assistance, if you'd like to present some of your ideas to our NSDC mentors on the upcoming mentorship calls, we can do that as well. And you can absolutely submit it to the symposium.
And so, Emily, do you want to mention that they would just have to turn it into a poster, right? Like if it's a paper right now.
Yes. So for the Data Science Symposium, the NSDC challenge, the submission requirements do require a one-page virtual poster board, which is what I mentioned before, and I can actually drop a link to an example in the chat, along with a short abstract, very short, it's only a few sentences. So if it is currently a paper, it would have to be converted into a poster board format for the symposium.
And if it's related to COVID, though, it could be a Kick Student Paper Challenge submission, right? And then it could be a 4 to 5 page paper, not a 17-page paper, but a 4 to 5 page paper.
Right, exactly. So the submission requirements for the Kick Student Paper Challenge is a 4 to 5 page research paper. So as Florence said, if it's a paper, if it's related to COVID and healthcare, future discovery, innovations, you can submit it to the Kick Student Paper Challenge. Let's see. There are a few more questions. What sort of opportunities can the winners of the challenges look forward to? So we mentioned on the web pages that the winners of the challenges may have the opportunity to present their findings live on a webinar hosted by the Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub, the National Student Data Corps, and the COVID Information Commons. So we invite our entire community, which is over 7,200 people, to come listen in. And there may stem from that some additional networking collaboration opportunities as well. You also receive virtual certificates signed by the Hub. Many of our recent winners have added that certification to their LinkedIn and onto their resume as well.
Yeah, and we also post the winners and their work on our website, right? So people will see, if you want your face there, we can put your face. If you don't want it, we don't have to put it. But we also put the posters and I guess links to the papers on our website.
Yes. So in the submission form, when we get there, there will be a button that asks you for your consent if we can show your work on our website. And we do include links to either your poster board or your paper on our web pages as well. Let's see what else. Does the symposium or any of the challenge programs offer any employment opportunities at the end? So they do not directly offer employment opportunities for the participation. However, some of our recent winners have been reached out to by either people at institutions looking to broaden the reach of their work. So there are definitely opportunities that can come from this as well. Florence, I know that one of the very first winners of the Kick Student Paper Challenge, someone actually reached out to him to discuss that work as well.
Yeah, so just be yourself. And when people are super impressed, all sorts of opportunities can come up. So in our first Kick Student Paper Challenge, there was a student that reached out to us and he joined some of our mentoring calls. And he ended up being mentored by some professors. There are a couple of cool opportunities that came out of that. One is that they actually wrote a paper they submitted to Springer Publishing, where this student was actually the first author, which means his name is first when you see the list of all the people. And then when he was, since he won second place, I believe, or third place in the challenge, we invited him to speak on a Kick webinar. And while he was speaking, a lot of people thought he was a grad student, and he was actually in high school, but taking classes in college at the same time. And he was actually offered an internship for the following summer. So he was matriculated at the University of Minnesota while he was also a junior in high school. So he was an undergraduate. And so it opened up an internship opportunity for him, a publishing opportunity. And now I believe he's at Yale. So there are all sorts of cool opportunities. And actually on the Kick Student Paper Challenge webpage that Emily was showing and that we have links to, you can see a little video from him. His name is Aditya Kulkarni. And he talks like for 3 minutes about what it was like doing the challenge, ideas of how to get started, just keep trying. You might be new at this, but you'll figure it out, very inspirational. So there are all sorts of opportunities that can come out of it. There's no direct, like if you do this, you'll get a job, but like anything, if you do a good job, people notice, and there may be other opportunities that come up, especially when we give you an opportunity to present it more broadly in the community. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I think Yeah, I think that also aligns with another one of the questions that was asked earlier. Can you talk more about internship resources? So yes, as Florence said, it can definitely lead to different, any type of networking opportunity, and being able to add people to your data science community is always a great thing to have. So yes to that, and also other internship opportunities. If you're looking for more information there, I recommend visiting the NSDC Career Central. As I mentioned before, there is an updated list at the bottom, actually, of data science jobs, internships, scholarships, fellowships, research opportunities, and more. So if you're looking for more resources there, I would definitely, if you scroll down to that bottom of the page, you can definitely find some more information there.
I think the next question is about the international side. Do you want me or Lauren to answer that, Emily, or do you want to?
Let me see.
Are the employment opportunities curated by you open to international students who would require employment sponsorship? So what we do is funded by the U.S. National Science Foundation. So we need to focus on spending money in the United States, but we open everything for free, globally. So you can look at the particular opportunities. We don't sponsor jobs or internships. We just we sponsor volunteer opportunities. So you would have to look at the particular internship or program or job opportunity to see what the requirements are. They would all be specific to whomever was offering it. Does that make sense to whomever asked the question? I think Anubhav Shankar.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Sure, our pleasure.
Yes, and the next question here is, what is the process of finding a mentor from the NSDC mentorship program? So a few different things here, because I know I touched on mentorship opportunities a couple of different places throughout the presentation. So the NSDC mentorship program is a program that we host here at the Hub. And all it really requires from you is to fill out a short Google form to let me know what you're looking for. If you're looking for example, a data science graduate student, if you're an undergrad right now, or if you're looking for a data science professional that works with data specifically in healthcare or specifically in finance, you kind of give me some information about who you'd like to connect with. And then I will kind of search through our collaborative hub community and be able to connect you with them to answer some questions that you may have. Some of the most common requests that we get are like a CV resume review, data science project assistance, practice interviews before a big interview sometimes is helpful, or just general data science career questions. You may be a psychology major right now, but you're finding how like data really plays a role in your studies, and you're wondering how that you can kind of start bolstering your skills in a data science field. So if you're interested in something like that, we can find a mentor for you as well. You can also become an NSDC mentor if you'd like to answer some questions from other people, peer mentor. And then to touch on the mentorship in the programs. So we will be hosting NSDC mentorship, student mentorship calls for the NSDC Data Science Symposium and the Kick Student Paper Challenge. They happen they're like set for an hour once a month. And you'll join a Zoom meeting just like this. There will be a group of people on the call as well who have some experience with data science projects and research, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have, whether it's about your topic, if you're confused about a piece of data in your data set, they'll be able to assist you along the way. And make sure I'm not missing any questions. The next question is, do we compete as teams or individually in the challenge? So you can do either. So if you are interested in competing individually, that is absolutely fine. You can submit either a paper to the Student Paper Challenge, a poster to the Data Science Symposium. If you have someone that you're interested in teaming up with or having a small group, you can absolutely work with them as well. We have some information on each webpage about how you can submit one single submission form at the end with all of your information in there. We actually had a couple of groups win the most previous Kick Student Paper Challenge and Data Science Symposium as well, and they came together to present on our live webinar.
Yes, thank you, Emily. And the call for manuscripts for blockchain and healthcare today and telehealth and medicine today, that can be done as a group or as an individual. You've probably noticed that when you look at scientific papers, a lot of them have like lines and lines of who the authors are, because it's a real collaboration when you're doing something innovative and broad. So that the call for manuscripts could also be individuals or groups as well.
Any additional questions? What are major deadlines? So for the call for manuscripts, that is rolling submissions until December 2023. For the Kick Student Paper Challenge and for the NSDC Data Science Symposium, your submission deadline is July 31st, 2023. At 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
And then I guess just to finish it out, the Kick working groups and student working group are ongoing. So it's like a carousel. You kind of jump on when you're ready and get involved in a project or start a project. We're expecting those to continue for a while so that we can enable research and student research collaboration, which is one of the key missions of the COVID Information Commons, is to enable collaboration to advance scientific discovery and then transition it to practice. And as we know, the COVID-19 pandemic is still going in 2023, even though we don't all say it that way. And there are expectations that there could be future pandemics. So we need to continue the recovery from this pandemic. The most recent one with COVID, as a matter of fact, the education working group is working with the U.S. Department of Education on a K-12 project regarding recovery from the educational impacts in the kindergarten through 12th grade group due to COVID. And then as we look to the future, we want to take the learnings from COVID response and recovery to help us either predict, prevent, or mitigate the impacts of future potential pandemics. So it's an ongoing carousel. So we invite people to join the working groups when they want to. Is that okay, Lauren? Anything you want to add on that? I know you do a lot of the working group work, so thank you.
No, that's a big part of it. And I think the other key piece to highlight is that the groups are always evolving our focus. Even the projects that we're working on now may be very different in a couple of months. So there's always something new to get out of those conversations. And we would absolutely invite everyone to join and share their own insights.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I also see in the chat, if we'll be sharing the recording for the session, which I saw also, Lauren, thank you. The recording of this event will be posted on our YouTube channel. The link will also be dropped in the chat before this meeting ends. You'll get links to all of our social media accounts, so you can keep up with the new updates and events and programs there as well. Another question I see here is, are the mentorship calls are regular scheduled for the community? So for the mentorship calls that have to do with the KIC Student Paper Challenge and the NSDC Data Science Symposium, so we will let you know when those are. The first one has been tentatively scheduled, listed on both of those web pages that we shared with you. If there's ever a conflict that arises, meaning that you cannot attend one of the mentoring sessions, we always record them and send them to you afterwards. Not only that, but I will reach out to you prior to the mentoring calls and ask if you would like me to pose your questions if you cannot make it. So you can give me a list of your questions, a bit of information about your project, and I will ask the mentors for you as well, so that you don't feel like you're ever missing a mentorship call, because they are pretty helpful along the way. Okay. Could you shed some light on the difference between the KIC Student Paper Challenge and the call for manuscript? Is it the difference in research field focus? Is the difference in paper length? Yeah, so the KIC Student Paper Challenge is, I would say, more focused on the pandemic, future discoveries and insights or things that are related to more to COVID-19, where blockchain and healthcare today and telehealth and medicine today have more of this overlapping technology aspect of the topics. So we're talking about distributed ledger technologies, obviously blockchain and healthcare, and a few other things on that list of topics. It is very broad as well, because blockchain and healthcare today, and then telehealth and medicine today, they reach a lot of different topics in the field as well.
Yes, and on that note, I'm actually on the editorial board for Blockchain and Healthcare Today, and maybe we can drop the link to their website in the chat. And you can actually, it's an open journal, which means you don't have to pay to read it. So that's why there's usually an article processing charge, because usually people who are authors have to pay to get their paper accepted into the journal. That's why it's special as part of the Northeast Big Data Hub or National Student Data Corps, that you can actually have the article processing charge waived. So you can actually go to Blockchain and Healthcare Today and you can read the journal. You could read some of the papers in it. You could look at the length. You can look at the topics. So it'll give you a feel for how the manuscripts, if they're accepted, because everything has to be vetted in Blockchain and Healthcare Today and Telehealth and Medicine Today, how those would come out in the journal. So that should help you. Does that help, Andy? We can always come back. Okay, you're welcome. Our pleasure. Okay, did you want me to give a little demo now, Emily, of the COVID Info Commons?
Yeah, sure. So what we're going to do quickly, and if you guys have any other questions, feel free to post them in the chat. A few of the resources that I kind of quickly brushed over before, resources that you can use for the COVID Information Commons Student Paper Challenge. There are some really, really interesting, helpful resources on the KIC, and Florence is going to give a quick demo of how you can use one of these tools that may be really helpful throughout your process of doing this challenge, if you're interested.
Okay, great. And it's fun to look at anyway. There are good colors and a lot of interesting things in here. So we started this in 2020, actually, when the pandemic was first announced, and then we've been growing it over time. So I'm sure that was in the chat, but it's covidinfocommons.net is our our little URL, our vanity URL. And then when you come here, you can see that the KIC serves as an open resource to explore research addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. These are two of the main tools that we have. One is the COVID Awards and PI database. PI stands for Principal Investigator, and that's the researcher who was funded by the National Science Foundation or National Institutes of Health to do their research related to COVID. So if you click on search there, you'll see that we currently have 9,405 grants in here. And so you can go in here and see all of them, but that's kind of a lot to read. So you may say, you know, I'd like to be a little more specific. Let's say I wanted to look up a PI, like Florence Hudson. Oh, look at that. So you could put Hudson in here, and then you can see some of the work. So you could see that there are NIH and NSF awards. This is the COVID Information Commons extension. Here's the principal investigator. That's me, along with Jeanette Wing, our executive vice president of research. Here's a little bit about the award. You can actually see the grant description on the National Science Foundation site. You know, we got $2 million. Thank goodness. We're very grateful to NSF at the end of 2021. And you can also look at the PI profile. So in here, here's my ORCID ID, which allows you to look at some of the other publications that I've done. It could be that you want to put in something like epidemiology. I always do this, and I have to spell it correctly. So there are 722 examples of grants that actually mention epidemiology. You'll notice that with the National Institutes of Health, sometimes there'll be a couple of awards that have different numbers, but that are related. And so you'll find that sometimes as well. So there's NSF and NIH awards. You could also look by institution. So you could clear the filter here. And let's say if you were, I don't know, oh, well, I guess I'll do one that I know. So let's say that you wanted to look at the University of Southern California, and or actually any of them. Oh yeah, well, we know some of the researchers here. So you can actually look up the awardee organization and see what type of research has been granted there. It could be that you're interested in doing research yourself or going to grad school at some of these schools, and you can look some of that up. One of the other tools that we have is this machine learning maps tool, which is really cool because it's very colorful. So this actually will go against the awards database. And using a machine learning clustering technique will cluster the awards into different categories. So this is for, sorry, this is for all 9,300 awards right now. And you'll see that it's clustered, and you can see the names of the principal investigators. You can also change that to be the name of the institution. So let's say, you know, you went to college with Mitchell Rosen. So you'd say, wow, I wonder where he is right now. So then you can change it to organization and see that he's at the RBHS School of Public Health. Very interesting. And so you can use this to actually find researchers in a clustered area, a topical area. And if you were one of the researchers, find other people that might be in areas similar to yours. We also have different opportunities and resources. There's a video library, which has the prior webinars. We have the Meet the Researchers page, which Lauren has taken all of the 118 research lightning talks that have been done in the webinars since July of 2020 and broken them down separately by PI so that you could actually watch the video, and you can also look at an English transcript and a Spanish transcript of the material. So that's exciting. And we also have data sets and groups and guides. So you can see we have a number of data sets here from around the world as soon as I open it up. And then we also have some groups and guides. So these are the organizations and networks and some of the other things. So you can tool around here and find a lot of different things. Is that helpful, Emily?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions on any of those tools or resources? Okay, I also just wanted to let everyone know, since we were discussing the mentorship calls before, I'll post it in the chat. The upcoming student mentoring session is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So that is for anyone who is interested in the NSDC Data Science Symposium or the Kick Student Paper Challenge. It's specific to those two challenges.
And Emily, if you can plan on what you plan to do based on who says they want to be mentored with the timing of the call.
Yeah, absolutely. So after we start to find out who is interested in which of these programs, we'd love to hear more about where you're located, and just to make sure that we are being inclusive of like the time zones, making sure everyone can attend at a proper time. So if there's going to be I'm going to reach out to you all to ask which time of day works best for you, what your time zone is, and we're going to kind of work together to figure out the best time of day for the largest group of people, because we typically are dealing across a few different time zones. We want to make sure that no one has to be in their pajamas on the call.
But you don't have to put on your video, so that's okay. Yeah.
Right. If you want to wear pajamas and not put on your video, you can do that as well. Yes. So, okay. So does anyone have any other questions, concerns, or thoughts before I bring up one other slide that I'd like to show you guys? Okay. Let me just get my slide back up. All right. So I will share my screen again.
So before you do that, why don't I answer the other question here, or while you're bringing it up? So what is, oh no, actually Plato just sent it to me. But what is the platform underlying the COVID Info Commons via Columbia? So it's on a Drupal site that Columbia University manages. Then we have a Lingo4G tool from Carrot Search in Poland that actually is behind the Lingo 4G, the data, the machine learning maps tool. And then when we updated the COVID Info Commons, our initial award, when they asked us to create this, there were only 32 awards by NSF for COVID in March of 2020. Now there are over 9,000, as you see, between NSF and NIH. So when we got our COVID Extension Award, we had to create like a grow to the cloud strategy. So we actually burst out to Amazon on the back end. Okay, thank you, Emily.
Sure. Okay, so that should be showing now. I would like to say a quick thank you to the outreach team here at the Hub and the facilitators of this event, including the Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub Executive Director and founder of the NSDC, Florence Hudson, our Hub and Operations Communications Manager, Lauren Close. I really appreciate, and we all really appreciate your efforts. And here is a reminder of how to connect with us or stay connected with us. So you can join our mailing list to receive updates and news about new events, programs, and challenges, including the ones that we reviewed today. You can follow us on social media, including LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with us and all of our new opportunities. And join our Slack channels to find an interactive and collaborative network of data science learners, mentors, and enthusiasts. And then if you have any additional questions, you can feel free to email the Hub HQ team at the email at the bottom of your screen. I saw my chat box popping up. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any last minute questions. And that completes the presentation. Florence, do you have any last words?
No, I just want to thank you, Emily, for doing a great job as always on leading all of the student work programs, and Lauren for making sure we do everything right and on time. So thank you for supporting us and the websites and the people that support that. And thank you all for joining us. I feel like there are some new names here. We love when we get new outreach going on. And so we welcome you to the community. It's a very diverse and inclusive community that we have here at the Hub and with the COVID Info Commons and the National Student Data Corps. So tell your friends, invite them to join too, your mother, your daughter, your sister, whoever, your brother, your uncle. Everybody's invited, and we actually have learners of all ages that join us, honestly. So we're a very open community to help people learn how to do data science, learn how to do research, support each other through the journey. You know, you could be in a situation where you're the only person who cares about COVID research in your family, your community, or your school, or you're the only one that's interested in data science and there's no program for you to go to. This is a community of support that you can come to. And so we're very excited to welcome you, and we're so glad that you joined us today. And good luck in the challenges. Yay.
Yes, thank you so much, Florence. You guys have our email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to seeing you all on the Slack channel. We really hope that you've enjoyed this event as much as we have. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time. Thank you.